Alex Murdaugh on the road to a new trial. Wait, what's this? The judge said no. That doesn't mean it's the end by any means. In fact, this is really just the beginning of probably a very lengthy appellate process. But we started somewhere, and we started with evidence. We started with a juror flat out saying, yeah, Becky Hill influenced my decision. Yes, she said these things to me. And yes, it did affect the outcome of what I voted for in the guilt of Alex Murdaugh. But Judge Toll still said, nope, not enough. Here to discuss, Robin Dreeke, retired FBI special agent. Robin, were you surprised that this is how it all played out the other day in court?
I was a little surprised actually because I think Becky Hill really way overstepped what she should and shouldn't do in her position of trust. But at the same time, though, my initial impression I had was relief.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you would hate for a righteous conviction to get overturned or to be retried because of one fool that
Hmm.
did things that she shouldn't have done. So I was really happy with the system. I'm so glad it was a new judge that did this and not Judge Newman. He recused himself. We're seeing such a difference, I think, in the system down in South Carolina compared to Delphi, where we have two trials or one potential upcoming trial in Delphi where we have a lot of things going sideways in that whole system, and every week there's more sideways stuff, there's more craziness, and
Hmm.
we're trying to right that ship. But down in South Carolina, where it looked like, again, our conjecture from the outside looking in, where Alec Murdaugh and his whole cabal of people around him for and his family for his entire life kind of ruled that system. We're like, oh man, is he going to get away with this? Is he seem to know everyone, that this is kind of an inside job, and someone's going to be there at his defense and say all these nice things. But once again, it looks like the system is working, and that gives us trust and confidence in that system. Whereas you have an individual that makes a mistake. Becky Hill made numerous mistakes with her conduct, but the system is playing out and not ruining, I think, a righteous conviction.
And that's, I mean, that's an interesting way to look at it because I think it can also be argued the other way and say the system is not working. That
Right,
that that
right. You're right. My own confirmation bias coming in. Yeah, I want the Murdoch away. There's
your
no doubt.
confirmation bias is wrong. I mean, it's not. I don't know. I mean, because I mean, yeah. I mean, it could be looked at. This is very much a righteous conviction if you're on the side that Alec Murdaugh did this, and I think most of us are. At least to a certain extent of he knew that what happened, or that he knew of, or who, or what, if he not direct involved. But if we're going to say that the system worked correctly, isn't the system designed though that if there, this is the whole purpose of the hearing, if there is some sort of impropriety, and the bar was set. I mean, the judge basically said we would need someone to say that their verdict was in fact influenced directly by Becky Hill, and they got that. So it's like the points were made, the the
And
goal
that's
was
my question,
scored.
because like what I read yesterday, I have it right here, and that's why I'm a little confused on this one potentially, because I have right here all the jurors testified they stood by their verdict and were
Hmm.
not swayed by anything Hill may have said. Was there something different on that, or
Well, the fact, one of the jurors in there flat out said no. It was juror Z, is the
uh-huh.
one who flat out said that my decision was influenced by Becky Hill. And yes, Becky Hill did say these things to me. All the other jurors went along with the rest of the path saying, no, this was our verdict. We don't recall Becky saying these sort of things. But there's the one that is saying that, yes, in fact, my decision was influenced by Becky Hill. It wasn't really elaborated on very well. It was kind of a, I would say, somewhat weak testimony. At one point, they were even asked, are you it was something to the effect of, did she say anything else other than uh you know uh watch out, or keep an eye on
Right.
his motions, his movements, things of that nature. um in Did she say anything else? The question was, I don't really remember. It was simply the facts that were stated was that, yes, this influenced. I felt pressure from the other jurors, and I felt pressure from Becky Hill. Becky Hill almost painting it that he was already guilty. So
Right.
she did at the end of this, or at the end of the actual trial, when they ask, "Is this your verdict?" She confirmed, "Yes, this is my verdict." So to be able to go back and change that now, I guess, does put into question the rules and the law. And I mean, if we're going to be able to do this right now and say that I was influenced, or my decision would have been changed. I mean, you'd almost have to go back to every trial and go to every juror and say, "Hey, is your opinion still the same?" Now, or were you influenced? I mean, then you could almost reverse any trial if we're going to go down that road. um
Right.
so I don't know. It's a weird, sticky gray area that's really hard to get a grasp on what is right and what is wrong here.
Very true. And from what I've read and what I'm taking away from this is that she wouldn't have changed her decision in the verdict that she came up with. But yes, Becky Hill changed her thought process and how she engaged. And the way you laid it out there, I thought was really, really relevant too, Tony. And that is the jurors were pressuring her, or Becky Hill was pressuring her. What popped in my mind as you're saying that is yes. When you're a jury of 12, you're communicating with each other. You're
Yeah.
collaborating to come. And so, yeah, there's going to be a lot of pressure. You're going to
Yeah.
have dominant personalities. You're going to have non-dominant personalities. So my conjecture potentially is that the way the judge looked at Becky Hill in this case was that she wasn't any more of an influence than another juror might have been
Hmm.
in the same situation. In other words, Becky Hill broke what do they call it, the fourth dimension, whatever, or,
Yeah,
when
like
you're
the
watching
fourth
TV.
wall.
Yeah, the fourth. She broke that fourth wall that shouldn't have been broken between her and the jurors,
Hmm.
and made herself, as another juror, as a communication type person.
Yeah.
But at the bottom line, I think, was that the juror themselves said they did not change their verdict because of it. They changed their behavior or their thought process because of her, but just like they do with all the other jurors.
Yeah.
Again, I know I have my own leakage coming in here on this one, because I'm so glad we don't have to go through that trial again
Yeah.
as of now,
As of
unless
now.
as another appellates come up.
I mean, I think it's hold your breath, because he's got more opportunities to have this overturned.
And he's got great defense. He's got
Yeah.
great defense, as we've
Yeah.
seen. So yeah, who knows what's next?
It's just, it's such a strange area of what what constitutes improprieties in the jury room. If we're going to say that feeling pressure from other jurors, or feeling pressure, that's going to influence your decision. That's what deliberations are. That's the
Right.
whole point. I mean, to be like, "There's pressure. I'm a snowflake. I can't handle the pressure." Like, that's life. That's the
I've been on
process.
juries.
Yeah.
I've been a jurist,
that.
on big cases,
Yeah.
and doing my civic duty. And yeah, there is pressure in there.
Yeah.
There's people that want to go home. There's people who don't want to stay out here for 3 more days. I mean, it's
Yeah.
there are pressures on them. There's no doubt. External pressures, internal pressures.
Yeah.
But that's why there's 12. That's why.
Yeah. And
And
what
that's
is wrong with I mean, we seem to be in a place in our world where if there is pressure on someone or something for some reason, it's looked at as this is wrong, this is bad, rather than this is life, this is how decisions are made, this is how we get to a cohesive decision amongst a group of 12. So it's a weird argument to be made, but it is certainly one that attempted to be made there. Hey, it's Tony Brueski. If you like the podcast, be sure to like, subscribe, and press that bell so you don't miss any of our updates on the cases we're following for you right here at the Hidden Killers podcast from True Crime Today. And thanks